Let's start here, though, with the latest on that Christmas Day RV bombing in downtown Nashville, another classic 2020 happening. The FBI has now taken over the investigation. At least 3 people got hurt here. But the mayor says many more people were saved by police officers who rushed in to clear the area.
What could be the strangest part of this was the recorded warning blasting from that RV minutes before it exploded on a street lined with tourist bars and restaurants. Now, the RV was parked near an AT&T office. It took out communication systems, including some 911 operations in the Nashville area.
And the communications interruption also affected Nashville's airport, which had to declare a ground stop for a while. For the very latest on this investigation, let's go to ABC's Marcus Moore right there in Nashville. Marcus, good morning.
Oh, Whit, good morning. This is such a bizarre case here. Authorities have cordoned off several blocks here in Nashville, including the famous Broadway where I'm standing, and you can see the police in the distance just behind me. A curfew went into effect overnight as investigators searched for clues. The FBI is leading this investigation into the explosion that left part of this city in ruins.
The powerful explosion ripped through downtown Nashville Christmas morning. Chaos and a horrific scene would follow. Debris strewn for blocks, windows shattered, and those desperate cries for help. This morning, investigators believe the powerful blast was intentional, but they don't know why. Just after 1 a.m., police say this RV was seen on 2nd Avenue, parked outside the AT&T building. Hours later, police respond to a shots fired call. When they approach the RV, a now haunting recording could be heard, warning people nearby to evacuate. Police are still reviewing surveillance video.
If you can hear this message, evacuate now.
Investigators say it was coming from that suspicious vehicle. First responders and 6 police officers now being hailed as heroes, rushing to the scene to evacuate residents.
They heard the announcements coming from this vehicle. They took them seriously.
And look closely. A police officer stops this man walking his dog just in time.
I said, why do I need to evacuate? And right then, boom, the bomb went off.
And at 6:30 a.m., the RV would explode into a vicious fireball, rocking parts of the vibrant city and even knocking an officer to the ground. Debris and plumes of smoke shooting hundreds of feet into the air.
Stay back till we figure out what's going on.
This surveillance video from a home nearby captures the moment the building is shaken by the force of the blast. Buck McCoy was in his bed when his apartment building shook.
All the windows came in from the living room into the bedroom. The front door became unhinged. Everything was on the ground. You had to step over things. Large pieces of wood were, all over the place. And as I got out onto the street, it was just surreal. It was like a movie.
The fire department rushing 3 people to the hospital. Remarkably, all with only minor injuries, including one police officer suffering temporary hearing loss. And this morning, law enforcement sources telling ABC News human remains have been found at the site of the explosion.
We do not know whether anyone was in the RV when it exploded. So I can't tell you at this point whether there's a potential for a fatality in that scenario.
Authorities are working to identify those remains and, as you just heard, determine if there was someone inside the RV or if it was perhaps a passerby. And overnight, we learned more about the enormity of this explosion. 41 buildings here in Nashville sustaining some bit of damage. One of them even collapsed. The mayor has said that it will take some time to return this area to normal. And he also, Dan, he vowed to find the people responsible for this explosion.
That is the huge question. Such a bizarre story. Marcus Moore, thank you very much for your coverage this morning.